Hello, everybody. Today is June 24th. You're watching NuPath Live. My name is Dan Harrison, and I feel free, baby. Anybody who's listening to the song as we were waiting to go live today, that was by Cream. I feel free. Released in 1966, about a year before I was born, but all these many years later, I feel free because I have the vaccine, and I am able to be around other vaccinated people without my mask, and I am able to see smiling faces, even give a couple of hugs. And I've been doing all those things as part of NuPath's Summer Sensation series. You may recall that last week when we met on NuPath Live, we were talking about our plans for the Juneteenth event over at the Martin Center. We had a wildly good time, although sadly I was not able to get a taco from a taco truck as much as I had wanted to. Every time I went, the line was so long that I ended up getting a delicious Korean delicacy, the glass noodles and other things that were very tasty. And we had the steel drums and just a lot of happy, free people because we were unmasked and able to be around one another and see people that we hadn't seen for so long. It was great. Had a great time. Big kudos to the Martin Center team that hosted the event. It was very well put together and organized, and I was really proud to be there. Shout out to Janice and my good friend Janice and Rob, and her sister Marianne attends the program. We had lunch with them and was able to catch up with them. It was a lot of fun. And then just going full steam ahead, this week's been great. Yesterday, on Wednesday, we celebrated staff longevity. This is something that we do at NuPath to honor the years of service of our employees. And these are just some pictures of those people celebrating 5 years, 10 years, 15. We honor them at the mile markers of the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 even, because celebrating also was our own dear Judy Miskell, who received her 25-year award. And Judy is a beloved fixture of this organization, and it was a wonderful time. Now, I was pleased to see all the staff that had responded to our invitation and had come and were there in the tent, free and unmasked. And one person in particular who was celebrating 5 years is Tinia, who I happened to see walking in today, and we were looking for a staff person to talk to, and she entered my mind. So she had very little warning to join us today, but I thought we'd have her come on and talk to us about her experience these past 5 years. And hi, Tinia. I don't think you're on yet. There you are. Hi, Tinia. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
So you're probably thinking, what was I? Too bad I ran into Dan Harrison on my way to the building when we were talking. But you're a smiling face, and you work at our business office, doing a lot of input of data and a lot of things that keep us paid and keep the money coming in. So you're really, really important. We talked to you. I was trying to remember when. It's part of our NuPath Live series. Do you remember when it was?
It was last summer, so I want to say it was in July or August maybe, and we talked it was me, and then you had Cheryl on as well, and talked about the billing and attendance and how everything going forward.
Now, you said before we went live today, you told me you kind of stumbled into this job. I asked you what was the longest you'd ever worked at a job. You said about 8 years, so we've got a little ways to go yet before we can beat that record. But remind us how it is that you came to work for us.
So I actually started out in transportation as a driver.
Oh, I remember that now. Yeah.
Yep. And I actually just sort of, at the time, I was also driving, when I applied here, I was driving for like the school system. So a 7D, so it's for students with disabilities. And I just happened to, a few people that I had known had kind of shifted over here as well. And I said, okay, well, let me try it. My kids were getting older. My son was still in kindergarten, and my daughter was in third grade, I believe, at the time. So the flexibility was nice on there. And so I started out as a driver, and truthfully, that's just how I sort of stumbled in, not really planning on, not really that it wasn't a plan, but it wasn't really a plan either to continue staying. But it was, I mean, it worked out great. I didn't want to, I didn't want to go. I like it here very much.
What brought my heart joy today was when you said you were just talking about what a great event it was yesterday and what a good time you had, and that pleased me because we're always looking to make people happy. We want to, part of our goal this summer is to find occasions for people to come together and be together in ways that maybe they haven't in the past 14 months. So tell us about the day. What did you enjoy the most about yesterday, and what was fun about it?
Honestly, just being outside with everyone. And Rich, we were outside, and it was just everyone. No one had their masks on, so it wasn't like you were trying to, pull down and talk, and if someone couldn't hear you, and just seeing a whole bunch of people. Because there was people from residential that I haven't seen. You would see them coming in and out of the office here and there, in and out of the building. But when you're not, over the last year, when you're not in the, when the office was closed, last year, and then as it's opening and more people are coming back in, you didn't, people you really haven't seen in a long time, or, just, once or twice a month, if that, or even longer than that. So that was nice to see people I haven't seen in a while.
Have you been in other occasions or other events where you've been unmasked and in larger crowds? What's the biggest crowd you've been in since the restrictions have been eased?
To be honest with you, I don't really think I've been in a really big, like a big function. Maybe just something for one of the kids' schools.
Yeah.
But actually, even with that, really, the schools are keeping those on. But either that, or maybe just actually my son, they're starting to start their sporting events again for schools. Yeah. So out on the field, you didn't have to have when the team was together, you didn't have to have it on. And it's weird. It's a very bizarre feeling. Everyone has the same feeling. Like, it's weird, and it's to not have it. Oh, where is it in my pocket?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was feeling. And part of the motivation for doing some of these things, we want to always reward our staff and find ways to thank them for their amazing performance over these dark past year. But some of it was just to gently kind of ease people back into the, just the experience of it, because it's like, it's amazing what we can adapt to as the human organism. You can get used to almost anything. And I never would have thought I would have gotten so used to the mask that I still will be on my way into a store and I'll be like, oh, I forgot my mask. And then until I remember I don't need it, which is the reverse of how it used to be when I was trying to get used to wearing my mask, and I get up to the store and realize I'd forgotten it. And so I just think people, I'm hoping that some of this is just aiding in the experience of kind of reclaiming our freedom and kind of getting back out there and being unmasked.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
So you're working, how are you work back in the office several days a week now, or?
Yep. Yeah. That's also nice too, there's still some flexibility within and out. It's nice having to come in, take a break. You come in, you see, again, you're seeing people now a little more frequently. You're catching up with work, with work stuff. Oh, hey, did you grab that email, or, this and that. So that's nice. So a couple of times a week, I come in, and it's nice to see, because you're seeing every week. I feel like I'm seeing more and more people come in.
Now, so the experiences of our business office staff, is that aside, the majority of our staff don't have that luxury of doing their work from home. And these are the staff that have been in the trenches working day after day, week after week, month after month, caring for our people and doing that, even in the darkest days when our own people were getting sick with COVID. So, looking at the department of our business office, who made the really abrupt and very successful shift to working remotely, which wasn't the easiest thing to do. Now it's looking on trying to figure out the best way to bring people back and and looking at the ways that, like yesterday, the experience we had was a lot of fun, and we forget about those things that we enjoyed once about, being all of us together all the time. And so I think that's part of the goal for us. We've said that we're going to do things gradually and make decisions based upon the success, but we want to make sure people are still finding benefits to working together and the good things that can come of it. If you weren't in the office today, you wouldn't be on NuPath Live today.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So maybe you're thinking that's a reason not to be in the office. Well, we're just so happy that you could take a couple of minutes to talk to us today. Thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations on your 5 years. It's pretty amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you for yesterday, and thank you for today too. Thank you.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you had a good time, and we'll talk to you again soon. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, yeah, it's been a busy few days and weeks as we've been, doing more things out and about and starting to, reclaim our place in the world, if you'll call it that. And yesterday, or rather Tuesday, I drove up to our program up in Westford. We have an amazing program day hub and community-based day supports program up there. And I hadn't been to Westford for quite a while, and it's it's a little bit more remote of a program for us, and it's Brian Calden, who is the director up there, is a highly competent and just a terrific leader of our program. So as things go smoothly, it doesn't require as much of my direct attention or influence, but another example of what we miss when we are not in person. As I was walking into the Westford program, there was some parents and their child, Dick and Betty, and their daughter Ann, that were exiting the building, and they recognized me because they'd seen me on NuPath Live, and I had the best and most fulfilling conversation I'd had for a while with this lovely family, who just could not say enough about their satisfaction with the way our staff care. I think they use the word humanity, how much our staff were sensitive to the needs of their daughter Ann. And Ann, they tell me that you watch NuPath Live with almost with a rigorous ferocity, if you could say that. And so, Ed, if you're watching, I wanted to give you a special shout out. Dick and Betty, it was so nice to talk to you. I love meeting our families. I talked about our chance encounter up there. Even yesterday, I mentioned it at the Longevity Awards. And I said this, I said that in my line of work and in my position with the organization, a family compliment, especially one that is entirely unsolicited. There was no reason for you to share it if it were true. I wasn't, asking for it. That is the highest caliber of commendation that we could receive. That is unsolicited, and that which is of that such high praise. And the reason for that is because you are the most important stakeholders we have. Yeah, we get paid through the Department of Developmental Services, so from that perspective, they're awfully important. But as far as achieving satisfaction and getting things right, if we can't get that right for our families, then we really need to be rethinking our business. And we don't always. We're going to make mistakes, but I was so proud to hear your remarks. So I thank you again for that, and thank you for watching. It means a lot to me. And to the staff, to Brian and the team up in Westford, you guys are incredible. I had a great visit, and I will be up there again soon, I promise. And you guys are doing something right, that's for sure. Something really right and excellent. So good job, guys, and keep up the great work. So I was up there, in fact, to meet with our own Ted Horn, of course, a very, very well-known personality around these parts. Ted is our vice president of quality and training, and he does a lot of other things as well. And we're going to have him on to talk to us about some of the easement in the physical restrictions that we have recently been made aware of. So we'll bring Ted up and we will hear what he has to say about it as an expert. Mr. Horn, how are you?
Good, Dan. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I was just, sharing with people about my visit on Tuesday. What, well, let's see, how am I going to ask this question? So you're vice president of quality and training, but you do so many important, critical things for the organization. How would you describe yourself? Or what is one thing that you think people maybe don't know about you that you feel that you do that maybe people don't know?
Well,
That's a tough one.
That's an unexpected question. So I think quality, over the last year, it's really defined my role of tying quality more intimately with operations. The last year has been so unprecedented, and it really reconnected all of the systems that we do and all of the outcomes that we look at as an insider rather than an outsider. And what I mean by that is quality and operations working hand in hand, as opposed to operations delivering information to measure quality. I hope that makes sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what I've seen or become more aware of this past year than ever before is how much the various directors will call on you on a regular basis, to assist with pursuing solutions to things, to understanding, challenges that we're currently having. You've been with us now. We agreed something like 23 years. Oh, I think I missed the slide on the longevity. I was going to talk about something else, longevity. Maybe we'll go back to that at the end if I have time. I just realized what I was going to say earlier was that it turns out we've got 44% of our staff that have been here longer than 5 years, which is pretty incredible. You've been with us for 23 years. Having somebody that's got your intimate and thorough knowledge of the organization, having seen us, the various iterations, you really get this industry. You understand fundamentally the challenges that are baked into so many things, whether that be the staffing shortages, or just the workforce crisis that we have, all these other things. So seeing you as part of these solutions, you're not just out there throwing down these quality measures or saying that you want this data and doing that in absentia of all else. You really do you help us create these systems that are possible to implement, or where we can really see success. I don't know if there's a question in there or not, but I feel like
I hope so. Yeah.
You're fundamentally a part of how we approach things. So I'm going to let you talk now, and if you could just kind of go through with us, where things stand now as far as the various restrictions and what things are looking like. So if people want to know when they're coming to the building, or how it's impacting their loved one.
Okay. So excellent. Last Friday, we received, well, it was actually last Thursday, we received information that the whole industry had been waiting for probably about 3 weeks anxiously for. And this was this promised guidance that was going to really move things forward. And we waited and we waited and we waited. And when it came, it came almost a year to the day after we wrote our first reopening plan. And so, last Friday I had the opportunity to provide what I called the Back to Better update for those who are looking to come back into our programs, as well as those who are back in our programs. And what it did is it laid out where we are with this most recent guidance. And, going all the way back 12 months, the beginning of July of 2020, we were 4 or 5 months into the pandemic, and it felt like such good news that we were going to be able to start to think about bringing people back into the programs. But it came with significant restrictions. Everyone had to be 6 feet away from each other. Everybody had to be wearing masks. No one could share materials. We had lunches where, everything was right at the same table that you started your day with. And also, cohorts you started the day with, meaning at your home through your van ride into your day program, stayed together. And we made the best of it. And as people came back into the program, we gave as much of a semblance of normalcy as we possibly could. And the members were grateful. They were grateful to the staff. They were grateful for the opportunity to come back to the program. And last Friday, we took another huge step forward in getting back to normal. And that was being able to release the guidance that would lay out the easing of some of those restrictions. So just quickly going through those for anyone who didn't have the opportunity to read the memo, we'll start with masks. So for those members in our program who are vaccinated, as of Monday, we welcome those members into the program, and we let all the members who had been vaccinated know that they could take their masks off as they entered the program. All drivers and all members on vehicles need to continue to wear the mask. That's just a Department of Public Health regulation right now. There was a lot of advocacy on that. And for now, on vehicles, everyone needs to wear masks. Once we screen members into the program in the morning, and we're continuing to take temperatures as well as screen for any COVID symptoms, those who are vaccinated are welcome to remove their masks at that point. For those members who are not vaccinated, we're continuing to support them either to wear a mask or to maintain social distancing. Okay, so that's staff at this point in time, while indoors in our programs, they must continue to wear masks. However, outdoors, staff are able to remove their masks when supporting people outdoors and enjoy the fresh air. In terms of social distancing, this is probably the biggest step of getting back to a semblance of normalcy. And I guess I'll remove the word semblance, getting back to normalcy. The social distancing guidance has been eased. While participating in our programs, those members who are vaccinated no longer need to practice social distancing. Those members who are not vaccinated, when not practicing social distancing, are supported to wear a mask. So the social distancing, what that really results in, instead of being 6 feet away from your friends and not being able to do group activities, as of Monday, we were able to restore multiple members being able to participate in activities together, as well as people being able to sit together in a more social environment. We're still going to maintain some of the best practices. We've increased our capacities by 20% from what they were last week. And what that really did, that gets us really to about 80-90% of our pre-COVID capacity. And not to get into those details, but what it does is it just gives us a little bit of time to set up the environments and make sure some of those best practices that we were able to really relook at the design of our environments and maintain the ability to grant people the personal space that everyone desires, as well as make best use of the space. It was really a fresh start with that because we had cleaned out all the programs, we had moved furniture back in with social distancing, and now with increased capacity, we can really take this in a thoughtful process to ensure the environments are the best environments and really embodying that back to better, and focusing on that better, that, taking something that was bad and making it better by having a fresh look on that. Infection control. While we're reducing the restrictions on the mask wearing as well as the social distancing, we are continuing with some rigid infection control. Entry screening is continuing, as I mentioned. We're still tracking attendance so that in the off chance that we had to do any kind of contact tracing, we're going to know where people have been served. However, with that cohort attendance, we are allowing people and supporting people to get the maximum benefit from the program by being able to participate in different activities throughout the day with different people. Hand hygiene best practices are continuing, and we're doing appropriate and daily cleaning of all of our facilities. So that's really the big step that came from last week. And, you know, if it sounds technical, it is, because there's some very detailed steps that we're taking with this. However, it's exciting because, as you saw, Dan, you know, being in the programs coming up into Westford, being able to see people's smiles, being able to have conversations not through a mask, as Tinia mentioned, but also seeing people eating lunch together and being able to enjoy that social connection that had been lost over the past year. So we still have a shared road ahead of us. There are still some challenges, including the staffing crisis. We are still working our way back to full staffing so that we can welcome all members back. Transportation capacity has increased because more people can ride on the van. So we should see quicker returns for anyone out there who's been waiting to come back to the program because of access to transportation. We should see movement in the next week or two. In fact, July 1st, we expect the next milestone of those who have been waiting to get onto a van route to have access to that van route. And then finally, you know, we will increase our buildings to full capacity as the demand increases. And as that demand increases, I mentioned we're setting up the environments thoughtfully. We will be ready. No one will be delayed due to our building capacity. The things that we're really working hard on right now is the staffing. We're in the staffing crisis. We've talked about that, I think, last week. We're working towards that so that we can safely support everybody upon their desired return. So that's where we're at.
Great update, Ted. You know, people cannot imagine the level of detail that goes into planning each of these stages. And there's so many little things you might not think about. Like, I remember when finally the occupied signs came down off the bathrooms up here, because it was very strict, only one person per bathroom. And I'd go in there and see it would say occupied, and then I'd be waiting for a while, then I'd realize that somebody left the occupied sign on, or I'd leave and I'd forget to just switch it. And just something as simple as that. Wait, are we able to use the drinking fountains now, or is that still off limits?
So drinking fountains, we are able to fill our water bottles, but we still have the water spouts covered at this point. And that's, again, you know, I think you said back at the beginning of this year, you know, it was so easy to shut things down compared to reopening them. Yeah. And it's still going to require some patience. There's still going to be some lingering things that we wish we could restore immediately. However, the whole community has demonstrated exceptional patience, allowing our systems to work, allowing us to get to the point that we're at. And it's just a little more patience. We're getting there. We're going to get there, and we're going to be better on the other side of this.
Well, Ted Hord, you're just terrific. I thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. And if I were to think about what you are beyond your official title, I would call you our academic. You're our smart guy. You help us figure things out, and I cannot imagine a NuPath without you. So thank you for your continued leadership and excellent support to our programs. We couldn't do it without you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dan. Have a great day.
Oh yeah, okay. You too. Bye-bye. So I don't know, Greg. I think I've got about a minute left. Do I have time to go back to that slide that I missed? I just wanted to show people, if we could, just longevity of NuPath employees. This is pretty significant. Make it quick. So for those staff who worked for us 5 to 9 years, that's a full quarter of the staff that have been here more than 5 years. That's amazing if you look at statistics. Staff being here 10 to 19 years, 16% of our employees. That is huge. And then I think there's a small amount of 20 plus years, but that's no small amount when you think of the fact that we've got 400 employees, that is a significant number of staff. Altogether, we have, I think it came into 44% of the staff that of our employees have been with us longer than 5 years, which, guys, if you look at data from any source, this is just exceptional. And this speaks to the fact that NuPath is an awesome place to work. Okay, that's a wrap, guys. It's been a great week. We look forward to another one. We got this, and we'll see you next week. Bye.